Hi, and welcome back to this next module where I'm going to be talking a little bit about physical versus mental health. So the reason why I chose this topic to just explore, I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not here to force information into you. This is just an exploration of what mental health is. And you might find that some of this resonates with you, and you might find that some of it is like, don't get what she's talking about at all. And that is absolutely fine. Because to me, that just demonstrates one of the things that I talk about an awful lot, that as human beings, we are completely unique. I'm a psychotherapist and coach, so I see clients one-to-one. And I can honestly say that each individual that I see is unique in their own right. They've all experienced different life issues. They've experienced a different upbringing to me. They're completely unique to them. And that's the way I approach everything in life is, one, I understand that I can only see things through my eyes. So my experience on how I interact with people, how I communicate, how I react to things is unique to me. And I can only see my experience through my own eyes. So that's kind of an overarching thing that I use an awful lot, that my thoughts create my reality 100% of the time, without a shadow of a doubt. And one of the ways that I explain and explore that with people is that if you're sat watching a video or a film or something on YouTube, whatever, with somebody else, whoever that might be a loved one, might be one of your kids, it could be in a work situation, whatever. That you will take different things from that film that you're watching. Certain things will resonate with you, and certain things you'll think, what a crock of whatever. I am from Lancashire, and I do talk quite straight when I'm doing these videos and with clients as well. I'm a bit like Marmite. Some people like me and some people don't, which is absolutely fine. But I believe in, being quite direct and straight with people about my understanding and where I come from it. So just be prepared in these videos. It might not be exactly what you're expecting from somebody who's a psychotherapist and coach. But hey ho, we'll carry on. So yeah, talking about physical versus mental health and watching a film, that you certain things will resonate with you. And that's exactly the same in situations. We're in the middle of a global pandemic at the moment, and you might find that some people around you are just carrying on merrily. They're not really bothered. They're not feeling anxious. They're not feeling overwhelmed. They're not stressed by it. They're, it's sticking to the rules, wearing a mask, social distancing. But yeah, they're fine. That might be completely different for you. You might be thinking lots of things. You might be thinking about, am I at risk? Am I putting my family at risk? What if I catch it? What about work? How am I going to cope? That there might be an overwhelming lot of thoughts going on for you. That's because you're seeing your reality through your eyes, and they're seeing it through their eyes, and it's completely different. So these are the things that I explore, and I'm curious. I am a curious person anyway, but it tweaks my curiosity how different people react to different things. So physical versus mental health, there's an awful lot of stigma around mental health these days, particularly with males. Surprisingly, I see an awful lot of males in my private practice, and I think I kind of explore that with them. One, about why come and see a woman, because a lot of the time, men want to be around other men, which is understandable. Women want to be around other women, but I think there's something about when it's to do with our vulnerability, when it's to do with us being feeling like we need support and help in certain areas, that men would prefer to see a woman. Not sure what that's about, but it's just something that sometimes I think about. if we look at the physical side of things, often a man will go to a man at the gym. If you've got a personal trainer, if you go to the, you know, classes, and I don't know, as you can see, I don't go to the gym, but, you know, lifting weights and all this sort of stuff. I think a man is more likely to go and be supported in his physical health with another man, whereas a woman would maybe go to another woman, or if they want to kick up the butt, they will go to a man. These are all thoughts that I have around certain things, and you will have similar thoughts around certain things as well. But my view on mental health and physical health and living life as a human being is to look at things holistically, to look at the whole picture. You know, we are all unique as human beings, but our physical health and our mental health is very much connected. One I think is seen as being more vulnerable. When I was asked to do these videos around mental health, and I spoke about, yeah, that's not a problem, I can talk about mental health, what is it that would you like me to talk about? Topics came up like anxiety, stress, depression, overthinking, all those sorts of things, which to me are all about issues around mental health. It's not mental health. For me, mental health is kind of a net that's underneath us. We all have mental health. We all have the ability to access our mental health at any given time, exactly the same as what we do with our physical health. Sometimes, you know, physical health we might get a cold, we might get a sniffle, an ear infection or something, and our physical health will dip a bit. And that's exactly the same with our mental health. We don't lose it. We don't kind of put it down and forget about it. It's in us all the time. But at certain times when life throws us a curveball, or when something's going on for us, our state of mind and our awareness can drop, and we feel overwhelmed, we feel anxious, we feel stressed. But that's because we're having anxious thoughts, we're thinking stressful thoughts, and we're feeling overwhelmed because of that. So that's kind of like a general overview of how I see physical health and mental health. The other thing is that often around mental health, people want a magic pill. I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling anxious. What can I do to get rid of this? How can I stop feeling the way that I'm feeling? I would recommend a visit to the GP. I'm not a medical person, so I would always recommend go to your GP and get checked out, whether that's something physical or something mental. But sometimes people expect a magic pill. Sometimes people will come to see me in a therapy room and put the responsibility on me to fix them. The first thing I want to say about that is that, one, I don't believe that you're broken. So that's the other thing. I believe that maybe at times we are overwhelmed with our thinking, and we are feeling overwhelmed by life events, but you're not broken. In a therapy room, I very much come from a position as I'm okay, you're okay. We go into that room as equals, because if I go into that room feeling like it's my job to fix somebody, then there's an awful lot of responsibility on me. And I don't think that's fair on the other person, because it kind of puts me one up to them, which is another therapeutic principle that I might touch on at a later date, but I'm not doing that now. So people kind of look for a magic pill to fix them. So one, they're not broken. And two, I don't think there is such a thing as a magic pill. Same as, you know, you can join a gym, you can pay £40 for a month subscription or whatever it is to go to a gym. If you don't invest in what that personal trainer says, if you don't turn up for the sessions or the courses or do the exercises at home, nothing is going to change. So I doubt very much that, there might be some people out there, to be fair, but I doubt very much that you would pay for a membership at a gym and then blame the personal trainer if you don't end up with a six-pack at the end of 6 weeks, when all you've done is sit at home eating chocolate and watching Netflix. So that's kind of where I come from as far as physical and mental health. It's about an exploration. It's about, you know, being more aware of who we are as human beings, because we all are unique. How has my upbringing and my past impacted on me? How has a life event or a trauma impacted on me? And what can I do about, you know, living my life with that? So, exploring that is really interesting, because our thoughts create our feelings 100% of the time. If I'm feeling anxious, I know that it's because I'm having anxious thoughts. And it's quite difficult sometimes to explain this to people, because it's not like I sit in my chair and say, I'm going to be anxious, or get up in the morning and think, I'm feeling anxious today. There's the very subtle. If an example, what can I give an example of? I don't really like traveling. I'm a bit of a home bird. I used to work in Manchester, and I don't like going to big cities. I live in a little village. There's one road in and one road out, and that I quite like it that way. If I'm going to a big city, then I tend to get a little bit anxious about that, because I probably don't know the way. I'm relying on a sat nav. I don't know where to park. There's lots of different things that I would feel anxious about. But me being anxious about going to a big place starts way before the day that I have to actually go there. It might be that I have a course to attend, or I'm doing some training. So as soon as it's booked in, there's a little bit of something going on for me there. Don't really pay much attention to it, but it's there and I'm aware of it. It might be that I'm then planning if I need to stop overnight, so I've got to book a hotel or something. So there's lots of things that I'm doing that are just kind of putting a little weight on my anxiety, if that makes sense. So it's not that I'm thinking about the trip, it's about all the things around the trip that can start to make me feel a little bit anxious, if that makes sense. And then the morning where I'm having to do it, I'll wake up and maybe my first thought would be, oh God, I've got to go to Manchester. So, oh God, I've got to go to Manchester isn't me thinking I'm anxious about going to Manchester. It's just the thought of going to Manchester then creates certain feelings. So that's kind of how anxiety, stress, overwhelm all work. It's very subtle. The little inclinations that are underneath that then start us to think about certain things. And one of the ways I describe this a lot is with my trusty snow globe. If people are talking about mental health and anxiety, and I'm talking about the thoughts and feelings that go along with that, thoughts are neutral 100% of the time. If I have a thought, I'm hungry, I want to go and get something to eat, there's kind of just a little bit of glitter there. Don't really do anything with that. I'll go and get something to eat. If I have a thought, if we use the example that I've just given, I've got to go to Manchester, it shakes up a bit. And then I might go, what if I get lost? What if I can't find my way? What if I can't find parking? And what I'm doing literally is shaking up the snow globe constantly all the time, and it's agitating my thoughts and my feelings. So one of the things that we can do in order to stop that is nothing. And that is so difficult to somebody that's struggling with anxiety or overwhelm or stress or anything. It's just noticing that you're having thoughts around a certain thing. That can be enough to just quieten it down. But all this comes with practice and experience and awareness, and getting to know a little bit more about what triggers you and how you respond and react to certain things. I might talk in some other videos about how we can camouflage one feeling with another, but I'll just tell you a little snippet. I don't like being vulnerable. There's a surprise. I don't think any of us do. But if I feel anxious, if I feel scared, if I feel fear of something, I tend to come out all guns blazing and get angry. Because to me, in my thoughts and my upbringing, being fearful and being scared wasn't a very good thing to have. But if I came out fighting, if I was angry and came out all guns blazing, I kind of got recognition for that when I was growing up. So rather than feel anxious or sure that I'm feeling anxious, I will come out as being quite aggressive. Which I think an awful lot of people do that without stereotyping, which I don't like doing. I work with young people a lot, and particularly boys can be seen as having, anger issues or being very aggressive, when the reality is they're actually quite anxious and scared underneath, but it's easier for them to come out all guns blazing. this might resonate with you. You might see some of yourself in what I'm saying, which is absolutely fine. Because all I want you to do is to just be curious about, why do I do that? Why, when I feel sad or scared, do I come out feeling angry and aggressive? That's the first start, is to just be curious and just start to be more aware of who you are as a person. What triggers you? What are your thoughts around certain things? And being completely honest with yourself. You don't need to be honest with me. You can message me with pleasure, but just be honest with yourself about, why do I do that? When I'm sad, or when I'm scared, or I feel vulnerable, why do I get angry? What's that about?